At this point, we're ready to create our geometry that the electrode can be made out of. When we create toolpaths for the electrode, we want a new machine group, so we don't forget to do it later. We'll do it now. So select machine type, mill, default. And now any toolpaths we do add will be in this new machine group. Let's also select a new level. So I'm just going to add level 50, and I'm going to call it the electrode geometry. And accept that. Now with my color purple number 5, I'm going to create some surfaces on top of the solid part. So I'm going to select create surface from solid. I only want to use the face selection, and I'm going to select these 5 faces to be used in the creation of our electrode. So I accept that. We turn level 1 off. It'll be easier to see what we've done. We'll fit our screen. The next step is to trim away parts of this surface we no longer need. To give ourselves some easy trimming planes, again, I'm just going to switch the color. I'll go with number 1 blue. And I'm going to create curves. And again, let's make things easy. We'll just do it on all edges. And we'll just select the surfaces. You might as well select them all. Accept that. Create the curves. And we can see our edge curves that we have. We also want to extend this blue curve on the bottom of this surface and this blue curve on the bottom of this surface to meet here in the middle. So to do that, we'll use the trim command. We'll say trim 2 entities, and we'll tell this curve to join this curve. So again, we now have the curve going through here. We really don't need the curve out here, and it might be cumbersome, and we also don't need it out here, so we'll trim those away. So we'll go back into trim 2 entities, choose the line, and this time choose the inside of the curve. Again, the inside curve and the line, and we've trimmed away here. We'll create one last line joining this endpoint and this endpoint. So now we have a 4-sided figure, 3 straight lines and 2 curves making up this side. We'll create another surface on top using those curves and lines. So we're going to say create surface. This net surface will do nicely here. We can just chain in construction plane, and we need these 2 lines, this line, and lastly this curve, or 2 curves, and we've created that. We also want to extend this out here so it's easier for trimming. So back to create surface, choose extend. Distance doesn't matter, 1/4 inch is fine. Click on the surface you want to extend and move the arrow to the edge. Click and accept that. Now there are several ways we can trim these features out, so we'll use a couple of them. We'll start with create surface, trim, and we'll trim to surfaces. So the first set of surface we want to trim will be this one. We'll select it and press enter. The second set will be our blue surface, so we'll select it, press enter. We're now being asked for the first surface, what side do you want to keep? So we come down here to the first surface, we get our arrow and just slide it into the surface of where you want it to keep. For the second surface, right, same question, and we have options up here. We can trim both, we can trim only the second, or we can trim only the first. So for now, let's just trim the first, accept that, and we can see it's trimmed away. Okay? Again, if this blue lines and curves are bothering you, we no longer need this and this, so we can just choose to delete them. Repaint. Okay. So the last thing we want to do is trim away this purple surface, so we just have this little triangular section. For this next surface, we'll use 2 trimming methods to clean it up. The first one we want to do is create, again, surface, trim, and we'll use 2 curves. Okay, so the surface we want to trim, we select, press enter. Now we want to chain our curves, so we can select this line here, and then the curve across the bottom of the part. We can go all the way if we wish. Accept that. Indicate the area to keep again. Move it around where we can see it nicely. And click here. And now we've deleted the part that's stuck out here, and we can accept that selection. Again, if you don't like this line, just delete it. Okay. The last thing we need to do is trim up here. So once again, we could choose to trim surface to surface, or let's try surface to plane. So we want to select Create, Surface, Trim. We've done two surfaces, we've done the curves. So this time, let's try to plane. Select the surface we want to trim, press Enter. Now the plane we'll use is the surface up here, so we want to select some entities. Click on the surface. You'll notice the arrow's pointing up, and that means we'll keep the top half. So to reverse it, because we want to keep the bottom half, or what's below this plane, you click on the reversal arrow, accept that, and we've trimmed it away. So now we have all the surfaces that we need to create our electrode. We don't need any of the blue entities anymore. You can keep them if you want, or you can delete them. I don't need this surface, so I'll click on it, delete it, and I don't need that line, so we'll just delete it as well. Whoops. Select the line, enter selection, repaint, and maybe there's a duplicate. Let's have a look. Yes, two duplicate lines. So we'll try one more time to delete it, and it's gone. So we had some lines over lines. Now we have all the geometry required to create our electrode. All we need to do is reorient the geometry, choose where we wish to be our 0, and put some tool paths on and machine our copper electrode.